Warning! The following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. If you do,
Up yours! That's only if you don't listen to the podcast. Otherwise, not up yours.
did you know the Untitled Wrestling Podcast is on all of the social media outlets? Give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, or even a review if you're feeling generous. Facebook and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord at UntitledWresPod.
Right, feud of the year.
Oh boy.
We've got, this is a good one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli. BCC versus Best Friends. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. Adam Copeland versus Christine Cage. Christine Cage versus Dead Dads. CM Punk versus AEW. BCC versus The Elite. Sammy and the Bloodline. We've got a few already. And Jake Uso versus the Bloodline.
I mean, come on now. Come on. We all know what needs to get elevated there, don't we?
Go on.
Got to be Christian versus the Dead Dads.
What, as in get it out or get it up?
Get it up. Oh, get it up. You're so good.
The moments of the year in AEW, one of the moments of the year in AEW was like, because for the crowd reaction was when Christian was getting into it with Nick Wayne, and he said, "Nick, I know you have a father," and the whole crowd just went, "Oh,
yeah."
And your father is dead. It's like the way he spun that off of the Jungle Book feud, like to just make it his like entire like sort of.
It's to the point where he's made it like a fucking meme now as well. It's just great.
Yeah.
He's like, anytime Christian Cage is up for anything in this spoiler alert, I'm going to be fucking going all cylinders to get him to win it because he's had a fucking great year.
So I think of it. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about, but I think out of anything that Christian's been nominated for, I think this is the category where we need to really push him because I think the actual overall feud has been the best part of Christian's work in AEW. Not so much the in-ring stuff's been good, but I think the actual the whole feud build has been the best part of it. Whether it's his feud with Adam Copeland, which I think is actually coming to a boil quite nicely now. Or just like Jay said, his sort of Christian versus Dead Dads has been more of like a celebration of his entire character work over his like sort of last 12-month run.
Yeah.
So on the basis of that, I would actually like to push for Christian versus Dead Dads to go up because I don't think you can just pick just one single bit of it. I think the whole body of work has been what's been really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Isn't that a different character? Isn't that a different category then? That's not a feud, is it? That's just best character.
Remember, it's been consistent.
He's been consistently feuding with Dead Dads,
and it's all been brought in on itself, and it's all been sort of everything's sort of tied into everything else. So it's not been like he's having a feud with this person, and all of a sudden he's having a totally different feud with this person. It's like the Jungle Boy feud sort of bled into the Nick Wayne feud, and then Nick Wayne joined him, and then obviously we had the big thing where Adam Copeland came in, and like that all sort of got pulled into the same unit, like the same sort of massive storyline.
All right, fine.
I agree. Good job.
So Christian versus Dead Dads goes up. That does mean we can get rid of Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage because that's covered in the former. Okay. I think as much as I loved it, I think we can. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about BCC versus Best Friends. Like I love it. I don't know if it hangs with some of the other ones here.
BCC versus Best Friends was more.
It was more Orange versus Mox, wasn't it?
Versus Mox, yeah. Yeah. So I'd agree with you. I don't think it necessarily hangs with anything else there.
And Orange versus Mox was excellent. It was one of my matches of the year, but I don't think the feud had the length to put it up on the platform with some of these.
No, I think with like especially the rematch where it was like a really like almost out of nowhere build where Mox just cut that fucking fire promo and then just tried to kill Orange.
Which like it's a shame because I think Mox's concussion sort of derailed it a bit because I think they had a really thorough plan to sort of play it through, but I think that the injury sort of broke it down to the point where you can't really consider it on this sort of level.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So we'll snip that.
Controversially, I'm gonna say I think for the same reason. Ospreay versus Omega shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Again, it was two excellent matches. It wasn't
Wasn't a
Two
feud.
match of the
like
It was 2 match of the year contenders, but there was like literally almost no build with the Wrestle Kingdom one. It was just a fucking video package, and then that little press conference they did like the day before, and then the previous one, the following match was literally about 3 weeks worth of build, where Ospreay like just surprised motherfucker Kenny.
Bit it off.
sound. One other one I know we put on to meme, CM Punk versus AW. I mean, it was hilarious watching CM Punk have a meltdown, but he's under a lifetime NDA, so we can't even talk about it. So there's going to be no follow up on that.
Chris Jericho can though.
Yeah,
Just
Chris
as soon-
Jericho.
Yeah.
Apparently, because he doesn't get the same employee handbook.
Just as soon as he talks about where his wife was on January the 6th.
Mm.
Right, this bloodline stuff. Let's unpick this. How do we feel about it?
Sammy versus the Bloodline was one match at Elimination Chamber, and then Sammy and KO moved on to Mania. If you're talking story of the
Sammy's
year,
but Sammy's whole bloodline thing was. I mean, no, that wasn't like a feud in the sort of conventional sense, but
Yeah.
it was, because as soon as it started, we all knew where it was going to end.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
yeah,
even when they were on the same page, we saw the feud coming, and it all built. It was like if we can say give Christian the benefit of dead dads all the way through, we can give Sammy and the bloodline the benefit all the way through as well. I think.
Okay, well, yeah, I agree with that then. I would put it up then.
I think because that's been some of the most emotional storytelling that WWE have done in the last decade, I think.
But then again, when a lot of that happened in 2022.
Yeah.
Again, I
All
mean,
this
the
story.
turn happened at the Rumble, didn't it?
The turn happened at the Rumble, yeah,
With the finish.
and the finish
Like-
was basically like the Chamber or else Mania, if you want to include the Usos in that.
I'd say it finished Mania, but then they also had that backlash match for
Yeah.
reasons.
And then it moved on to like Jey Uso and Jimmy and
Mm.
the other one on the list.
I think the only issue I've got with it really is the payoff at the end, because it
So,
just kind of fizzled out.
If we're talking about this feud, then did all the best stuff happen in 2022?
All the build happened in 2022.
Yeah,
The payoff was all 2023, wasn't it? Really?
yeah.
The groundwork
Yeah,
was
well,
laid last year.
Again, like with the payoff, like there was Sammy turn on Roman, then the match, and then about 3 months of them just kind of spinning the wheels after the fact, which really kind of hurt it because it felt like it more
Yeah,
ended on a whimper than like
a bang.
anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't watch it, so I can't comment. Do you want it up or do you want it off?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, but personally, I think there's two better feuds there.
I enjoyed it, but most of it happened like in 2022, not this year.
Fair.
Like, the good parts, other than the Rumble and the match, after that, it was dead.
Well, you had Sammy and KO against the Usos at Mania.
But yeah, at Mania, and then after that, it was just
After that, fine. Yeah, but then
yeah.
you say that, so that's what? 3-4 months of a consistent feud? How many of the other ones on the list went for 3 or 4 months?
I mean,
I'm not saying that there weren't any.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as someone that hasn't been privy to those other feuds on there. How many of them went that long? Yes, everything else after the Mania tag match when Sammy and KO won the belts was long in the tooth and it needed to stop there. But for that, from the turn up until then, how many others on that list went for that long and kept you as interested?
So Hangman and Mox was about 4 months.
Okay.
Hangman and Swerve has been. It was like mid-September that started, I think.
I don't know.
Oh, no,
that's why I'm asking, because I don't know.
Was it the Dynamite after All Out, Tasty?
Possibly.
It wasn't. So the first match of that feud was the 1st of October, so it would have been mid-September, and it's still ongoing. They just kind of like put it on the put it on the back burner while they do other things, but like Hangman keeps bringing up Swerve, so you know something's going to happen sooner or later. Eddie and Claudio have been like ongoing for like 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's feud of the decade, isn't it?
So the Swerve, according to Wikipedia, the Swerve feud officially started the All Out pre when Hangman beat Brian Cage in the Battle Royal.
Okay.
When's that?
So All Out was like the week after All In.
Yeah.
Oh, so start September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would really like to put Eddie versus Claudio up there because
I think
because you're not biased at all to either of those men or Chikara
totally,
or anything like that. Like,
yeah,
I think
it got John Moxley to name drop Chikara on AEW television, which was just phenomenal.
It goes up purely on that, yeah.
But then the fact that like with this feud, they've kind of it's been ongoing all year. Like that started in like February.
It started when Claudio Castagnoli debuted last year for Forbidden Door.
Well, yeah, it did start then, and there was the bit in Blood and Guts where like last year, which was kind of like starting to like light the fuse again, and then they really kind of started getting into it about February in Ring of Honor. Then Eddie Commentator like basically saying he wouldn't fight Mox, but because BCC he was in this feud with Claudio and BCC were attacking the Elite, he came to their aid, and then ended up helping with like Best Friends. Because
so
again,
the first match was at Supercard of Honor in March, and that's when Claudio beat Eddie. And then Eddie and Claudio just had this back and forth, and the promos were obviously incredible. And it all built to Eddie winning the title at Grand Slam, which was, to win it in his home state in front of his family, all this, that. It is the most Eddie Kingston thing that Eddie Kingston could be doing at any one time. So,
and then also, like, they picked it back up in the Continental Classic.
Yeah.
And they had that arguably the best match they've had all year. Last week in the Continental Classic. So, like, they've literally, like, again, it's Eddie Kingston. He harbors a grudge with people, like, doesn't he? So he's instantly like, I hate Claudio. Fuck that guy, regardless. Any chance he gets to fight him, he will do.
That's Eddie's shtick, though, isn't it? Like every feud is, yeah. I used to know you. You were good. Now you're bad. I want to fight you.
Yeah, but
not to take away from it. It's great, but like that feels like it's the basis of every Eddie Kingston feud. Like, you used to be cool. I used to run with you. No,
Eddie Kingston's just like the antithesis of what Sting is, where Sting's too trusting. Eddie trusts someone, they fuck him over, and then he's like, I'm going to kill them forever.
Well, Eddie and Claudio's feud in Ring of Honor basically stemmed from, so years ago, Eddie and Claudio would do a rematch in Chikara, and Claudio left, like legitimately left to sign with WWE before he could have this match with Eddie, and he wouldn't do business. So this is like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I don't even know if they're friends or not. Like, I couldn't even tell you, because it's run that deep now, and now they've had this like best of three in AEW / Ring of Honor. Eddie's come out on top, which it's and if you look, like it's like a classic, isn't it? Like, it's Rocky versus Ivan Drago. Like, Claudio's this like genetic Superman who like punch a hole through a brick wall, and Eddie's a guy who looks like he just walked out of a pizzeria, and he shouldn't have any right to beat him, but just because he just won't stop, and he just has this. He's just like so powered by his hatred of people who have like wronged him,
yeah.
that he's able to keep going.
Also, as well, the fact that like the way they kind of picked this up in AEW, which was Ring of Honor, which was really good, was Eddie won a title opportunity and Claudio just went, I don't respect you. You don't have any honor. I don't want to defend my belt against you. And that just fucking angered Eddie beyond belief. And then it was all about Claudio refusing to shake Eddie's hand after the match, and basically just like refusing to show him any respect until Eddie like beat it into him. So I think it has, personally, I think like it has been one of the most captivating things, and it's one where you haven't had to like really not pay attention, but you haven't like had to have been tuned in week in, week out, because they're like passing ships. As soon as they get too close to one another, they're going to start at it and just pick up where they left off.
So can we put Eddie v Claudio up then? Is that a thing we can do?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got one space left.
We got to chop a few of these, man. We've not discussed.
Yeah. So can JV the Bloodline go?
I think so.
Yeah.
The JV the Bloodline can go. I think Sammy versus the Bloodline still. I know we said
I think
a lot of the build was last year, but
I think that's still
a contender.
I think Hangman v Moxley can go because I prefer Hangman v Swerve.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Hangman v Moxley was fucking excellent though.
It didn't have the extracurricular activities the Hangman v. It didn't have Swerve's home invasion. It didn't have, it
didn't have Prince Nana dancing. So
it didn't have that It didn't have the contract signing that Hangman and Swerve had, which was excellent. I think Swerve. You want to talk about stuff that elevates everyone? Swerve just being, because Hangman's like this sort of like white meat baby face on paper when you look at him like from a distance, but then you boil into him, you get closer and you see the rough edges and you see like
there's a lot more shades of grey.
He's actually a bit of a prick sometimes, yeah. And then Swerve's the kind of guy who's gonna turn those rough edges back on you and like sort of use yourself to hurt you in a way, like in terms of like how he'll make you see yourself. And that's what I've really enjoyed about this feud. I think Swerve has been excellent as this sort of like almost Joker like sort of psychological terrorist coming after Hangman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that like
the fact that they put like one of the best matches of the year into the middle of it as well really fucking helps.
Well, two of them.
Yeah.
Both were fucking outstanding. But the fact that without
BCC basically can fuck off and not bother.
The best part of that was Bryan Danielson stabbing Hangman with a screwdriver and calling him an amateur. But with like Swerve and Hangman, my argument for it is that without this feud, Swerve wouldn't be anywhere near as white hot as he is.
I mean, he should be anyway. He shouldn't have taken for this. We knew it was all there.
Oh no, but like I think it's as much about like his booking in like both WWE and AEW as it is about he's not had the right sort of dance partner, if you will. And I think Hangman Page is like the perfect sort of like
this was the first time he really got something to sink his teeth into. Like this was the first time he got given the ball and he's just fucking disappeared over the horizon with it. Like,
Yeah. But also I think Hangman like deserves his flowers as much as Swerve does in this.
It's rehabilitated Hangman back up to that sort of main event level, hasn't it? Like,
and also I think that Swerve brought out a side of Hangman that we hadn't seen for ages. Hangman brought out a side of Swerve that we haven't seen for ages as well. And I feel like both these guys, like it is the Batman and Joker thing. They're destined to do this forever now. I feel like this is a feud that like AEW will revisit. Like if ever either of them are world champion in the next like 3-4 years, you guarantee this is going to be one of the challenges in that title run, or the person who costs them the title, and then we've got that feud back. And the fact that as you say it, like it rehabilitated Hangman. Hangman felt like he was fucking spinning his wheels since losing the title,
floundering a bit.
The fact that he feels like a huge deal as much as Swerve does. Like, I feel like that's why this should be up there, personally.
So can I push for Hangman and Swerve just purely on the technical basis that it all happened this year?
Yeah, I was going to agree, but just because Sammy and the Bloodline stuff happened mostly last year, and some of it happened this year, I guess.
All that happened this year was the sad bits where Sammy got beat by Roman and we didn't get to see any payoff.
We got the payoff at the Rumble where he finally took that. That was the payoff.
Yeah.
He didn't win eventually. The payoff was the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, go on. Hangman, Swerve. You got to decide on a winner now, ain't you?
I mean, I would, based on what we just discussed.
Christian Cage and Dad.
I also want Christian Cage and Dad.
It's not a real feud, though, is it? It's not a real feud. He's not feuding with dead people. It's not a real feud. He's done great character work.
I think the best feud this year is easily Hangman and Swerve.
I'll go for that.
Yeah, I can.
Nothing has made me feel like just constricting dread in my chest, like the prospect of these two people wrestling each other.
The fact as well, like it started with just like Swerve coming out and just like destroying him on the mic, and then it ended with like Hangman stabbing him with a fucking pen and Swerve breaking into his house and giving his baby a Prince Nana shirt.
Speaking of people destroying on the mic, our next category, we'll go into that in a second. So, feud of the year, Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland is our winner, with Christian Cage versus Dead Dads, which kind of like a nod to Christian's sort of ongoingly excellent work, and Eddie Kingston versus Claudio, also in the top three. Right, next up then we got Best Commentator. Speaking of people who've smashed it on the mic this year, our nominations are Ian Riccaboni, Nigel McGuinness, Michael Cole, Kevin Gill, Vader Scott, Excalibur, Billy Kirkwood, and Taz.
I'm guessing Billy Kirkwood's an Aaron pick. I haven't got a fucking clue. That
so
is.
I don't know who that is.
No.
Do they commentate for like ICW maybe, or
Possibly.
Well,
It's a very Scottish name.
With apologies to Billy Kirkwood, it's an honour to be nominated, but yep, you can't all hang. Riccaboni goes straight up here, right?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I'd argue so does Taz.
I mean, that's a conversation we can have in a minute. Oh God, that's a lot of thunder.
There's a lot of thunder.
You got thunder there?
It sounded like a lightning flash and then like a big boom of thunder. Yeah,
it's been like storms all day. It's been Sam Gradwell all day.
I've got what I wanted. I've got Riccaboni, so I'll let someone else push for their favourites.
I mean, Kevin Gill can get the fuck out of there.
Who's Kevin Gill again? Sorry, remind me.
GCW commentator.
He's not even GCW anymore. He
not?
does like he just does like indies. He got sacked by GCW for some reason.
Right, if you want him gone, he's gone. There we go.
I'm not gonna lie, I put Kevin Gill in there because I thought he was the commentator for GCW.
That would be Dave Prazak.
Yeah,
That's who I meant to put in.
Dave Prazak, I would have actually fucking gone with. To be fair, I think he's great. So I think there's two that stand out head and shoulders above the rest there, and that's Nigel McGuinness and Taz.
Disagree, but we're all here to have an opinion. That's fine. Tell us why you think they should be in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Nigel McGuinness, just because he's fucking so entertaining. Like he's like an old school heel commentator where he sides with all the heels. Like he gets up and applauds Christian Cage whenever he comes out. Whenever Bryan Danielson comes out, all he talks about is how he's brittle and he's broken, and he's like.
Did he call him a clam digger or something?
He calls him a clam digger, yeah, because he's from Seattle. And basically, he's just endlessly entertaining, and he tries to get like risque jokes in every now and again. And Tony Schiavone and Kevin Kelly don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
I mean, we all know who the real winner should be here, and it's John Moxley.
Oh, John Moxley was fucking fantastic on commentary.
Just because the number of times he got fined for swearing. Yes.
Also, like by that point as well, like when you saw Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson, and there's that gif of like Nigel standing up, going, "I want to see him tap out. He's gonna do it." And getting like really excited about the fact that Bryan Danielson's about to lose a match to an Englishman, no doubt. He's just been endlessly entertaining. I thought he was great in WWE, but I think he's massively.
One thing I'll say about Nigel is I really didn't enjoy him in NXT. I don't think.
No, I found him irritating as fuck.
I don't think he's suited the WWE commentary style. But I'm not saying he's better because AEW is better. I'm saying his sort of natural ability on commentary, it fits the AEW commentary style a lot better.
I think a lot of it comes down to when he was in WWE, how produced it all was. Where you're like the commentators are micromanaged, so they're having. It's almost like they're not really enjoying what they're doing. They're just go on.
So the flip side of that, just only because we've spoken about Nigel McGuinness for a bit, the flip side of that, the difference in commentary from Michael Cole from going from being micromanaged to not so much, and
that's
hearing how
Yeah.
much he now enjoys what he's watching.
That's
100%,
why I put Michael Cole on
100%.
that list, because
And
he's different now.
I think Michael Cole is great. I do. I just also prefer Taz and Nigel over Michael. That's not to say Michael Cole's a bad commentator, because I think Michael Cole's fucking excellent. I think he should be the benchmark of what people strive to be like. And without Michael Cole, we wouldn't have a guy like Ian Riccoboni, who we've just kind of like instantly gone, get him the fuck up there.
Right up.
However, I think this year, Taz and Nigel have been fantastic, which is why I'm arguing for them.
Based on that, then,
I would put Nigel up there, but I wouldn't put Taz.
I'm kind of with Ryan on this one. I think Nigel makes it. I think the easy picks here are Cole and Nigel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Can someone just tell me, pardon my ignorance, who Vader Scott is?
Vader Scott is a commentator. She mainly does GCW and loads of indies.
She's married to Mike Speedball.
Mike Bailey.
Oh, okay.
Michael Ball. Yeah.
Michael Ball.
Michael Ball.
Mike Ball, Speed Bailey. But yeah, she is very good. But I wouldn't have picked her out of that like group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found
I'm
Excalibur and Taz amusing when they used to commentate on. Was it Dark or was it Dark Elevation?
Yeah.
Dark. Oh yeah.
Because there was a bit more free reign. That was
it was
great.
kind of like in
Dynamite now, mate.
in Rick and Morty when they listen to the TV from the alternative universe, and it's like everything's just got like a looser, more improvised feel.
Yeah,
that was kind of what what they're coming through. It was like it's kind of sort of like they're doing a podcast, but there's wrestling in the background, which they occasionally reference.
Yeah, man.
I just like the fact that Taz instantly has heat with people wearing orange, which Ryan, you're in danger right now.
I would fully support Nigel and Michael going up out of these.
100% agree.
Agreed.
So,
but that being said, I'd also say that everyone nominated here, with the exception of Kevin Gill, is very good.
I think commentary in general has improved substantially in the last couple of years. I think it's become a key part of the product now, which is great to see. Like everyone, like I think even WWE, they've found the sort of limit to where they want to micromanage people and sort of overproduce them. Like say Michael Cole, like enjoying his job makes such a difference.
Yeah,
like to the way he's.
You say that, but have you heard Kevin Patrick in commentary?
Oh God.
Don't even speak about Kevin Patrick.
We've all got our Patricks and our Kevin Kellys. You know, it's it's not everyone's a winner, baby. Winning wise, I mean, I'm pushing for Riccoboni.
I'm here for fucking Riccoboni. He's tremendous.
I'm good with Riccoboni.
His dulcet, velvety tones,
and he raps when Willow comes out as well, which is just excellent.
And he raps, and also, he made a reference to a band, and then the record label a band are a part of sent him like every LP they've ever released.
Yeah, and when he's not commentating, he's a sex positive counselor as well.
He is
nice,
and a soccer coach.
Yeah, so
jack of all trades.
Right, we're on to the fan. So sorry, that is Riccoboni. Ian Riccoboni is our best commentator, with Nigel McGuinness and Michael Cole in the winner's circle.
Hello, yes, Danhausen here. Danhausen has been summoned. You must love this podcast, Hausen, the Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Hausen.